I may be living on the moon, doesn't matter, It doesn't matter if I don't live there permanently. But when people ask me, who are you, what's your identity? I say, I'm a Kashmiri. Most of my classmates were Muslims. Most of my cricket team players were Muslims. We used to play together. There was no problem. Okay, the bakeries and ahadus and, it was all Muslim bakery, Bread, milk you get from, there were no Hindu milkmen. You understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So, or a Hindu, there was nothing, no thought about it. So they thought, okay, now this community cremates, so I'll be cremated because I belong to this community, and that community buries. Okay, that was the difference I found.
Let's leave this because too many people have talked about this thing, what happened and what not. Getting to the point, we got out of that situation, like way back, and I think like we are settled now, in our own ways. Maybe not mentally.
Are we?
Maybe not mentally. We still long for that place.
You always look for your roots, isn't it?
Yeah, like maybe I am one of them, but I know people who don't. But I'm talking about Muslims here, Kashmiri Muslims.
Yes.
They are still suffering? Do you think so?
Yes, of course. Look at now from their point of view. If you go to the history of Kashmir, you have to go all the way to last Kashmiri king was Yusuf Shah Chak.
Yeah.
Okay, it's 1586. How he was tricked to meet the Indian king Akbar, and then what happened to him?
The Kashmiri gates. Right?
And then we had the Mughals, and then we had the Sikhs, and then we had the Dogras and all that. See, from the point of view, you have to manage the perception. And Kashmiri Muslims, Hari Singh and all that, and the leader Sheikh Abdullah and the leadership, so stayed in Kashmir as such. Now, when they talk about Kashmir, you also have to keep a close eye on India. About 70% India is poor. Kashmir is a reflection of that. A lot of money has come into Kashmir. Where has it gone? Why is it not audited? Why there are so many unaudited cases in Kashmir? Has the money gone to the grassroots? Is there enough infrastructure for people to generate employment in Kashmir? Is it? Do you think so?
I don't think so.
Okay. So what will provide employment to the Kashmiri youth? So the problems were even then. Now, in such a case, when people are poor, uneducated, slogging, it's very easy to exploit them, like in any part of India. Now, in Kashmir, unfortunately, politics used religion. There are genuine demands for Kashmiris in terms of its infrastructure, employment and all that stuff, genuine. But the people who lost elections in 1987 were declared losers, although they should have been declared winners, unfairly.
Yeah, that was the death of the democracy at forefront.
It did. So those people had their own agenda. If it was one movement, there would have been one face. Was there one face? There were so many parties. The first two militant parties there were two, JKLF and Hizbul Mujahideen, and then came others and all that. Was there one face of the movement? No.
Again, they are Kashmiris. Like,
Exactly.
We don't have leaders,
Exactly.
even they don't have.
Exactly. If I have a gun in the family, everybody will keep quiet, somehow. Who will speak? Now, Pandits have this whinge that Muslim brothers don't help us. But they haven't seen the compulsion of their Muslim neighbors. If one of them, an unemployed, disgruntled youth, had crossed across the border and got gun and training from there, and he's in the home and he's putting pressure on his own parents, there are cases, so many young people kill their own fathers, own brothers. Right? Is it true? It's true. Who is working in J&K police? Who are the most people? Who are the Kashmiri Muslims?
Yeah.
Look at the list of the martyrs. Look at the list of Kashmiri Muslim soldiers who have been martyred. Every month somebody dies. And recently one Kashmiri Muslim soldier died. He had won two bravery gallantry awards. Okay. Now, these disgruntled politicians, so-called, that time, who losers that time. So they wanted to take revenge on Indian democracy, so-called, because they thought it was failed. Why do we have to be with you? Because I wanted to be, you understand, engaged in whatever. So they were used. They were used for under Operation Tupac. Yes, Kashmiri Muslims have suffered a lot. You have to see it from their point of view. What happened, how the militancy started, People couldn't express themselves. Many people got killed. Now their situation was worse, Kashmiri Pandits left, okay, and suffered a lot. There's nothing much, and this is something which can never be repaired, Losing one's home and whatever suffering came with that, it can't be measured. Uprooted community, which is facing not only dilemma, we may have existential threat. We may fast lose our culture, our language, our everything. We are dispersed. I call ourselves now global pundits. But as a community, as one place, it's a matter of time only. Unless we are very proactive in saving our culture, our language, our food, and our spirituality is very important. But now, Kashmiri Muslims suffered again. The reasons could be different, but they also had compulsions. Hardcore compulsions, Some were misled into seeing something which was not real. Okay. Over these 3 decades, 60, 70, 80,000, this number is arguable, how many people got killed in Kashmir. How many Indian soldiers got killed in Kashmir? How many Kashmiri policemen got killed in Kashmir? How many youth got killed in Kashmir? All these years. It has gone into psychology. Kashmir has a very high rate of mental depression. Right? The education system is a mess. It is distorted. Dangerously distorted. Potentially, it will poison the new crop there. People feel suffocated. So it's very important. Kashmir is dealt with wisdom. As I said, any country belongs to youth. So does Kashmir. Kashmiri youth must be made to feel comfortable in the country. That whole country, whole India belongs to them. They are not limited to Kashmir only. Like the Pandit counterparts, everyone. Their future, their education, their job prospects, very important. Their perception, very important. As I have written in my 22 years Kashmir story, any educated Kashmiri should compare both India and Pakistan, for example, based on, I have given some 10 parameters. So whichever country obviously gets more ticks and see, that's where their future lies. Pakistan is battling so many problems of its own. So many problems of its own because of, again, it's very heterogeneous. You have Northwest, Peshawar, it's different. Even in the British times, it wasn't an easy area to manage. And Pakistan government is facing numerous challenges. Exactly. The economy, the security. It's not an easy country. In comparison, India has a much different situation, And the future of Kashmiri youth lies within India. But That will happen by working together with them, enabling them to interact, in the first case, with Pandit counterparts, same language, same blood, There is no difference. So that they see these are the people who are born after 1990 mostly, right? They haven't seen the previous older Kashmiriyat, how Kashmiri Pandits looked like, even how they interacted, how were the two communities intertwined. They haven't seen that. They have heard. I come across many youth in Kashmir telling me our parents had told that Kashmiri Pandits were good people, and some said, yeah, they were selfish also, but they were good people. That's what they have said to me. And they were so happy to meet with me.
To be so content about it, like you can't just erase the period from 84 to 89 or 90.
Yeah, there was a
So
lot of
how
brainwashing.
can these two communities come together and come to a conclusion?
Both communities, okay, now, origin, they're mostly related with blood. 80% Kashmiri Muslims have Pandit roots, right?
Okay, like everyone knows
both
that.
both have suffered.
Even Muslims know that.
Yes.
But
Both have suffered in their own ways. All right. Both have suffered. It is their roots, their culture, and their suffering. Albeit for different reasons they have suffered, but they have suffered.
but then comes the point, like, who has suffered most?
That's not the question. The question is,
But
what is
that
the objective now?
That is something is holding us back.
We have
Come
to move,
together.
We have to move on for Kashmir, both communities. For Pandits, it's very essential to be ground, to be connected with the roots, because without roots, our Pandit community can't get nourishment. It's very important. Any tree will wither out. It's a matter of time. Although we may have transplanted ourselves, but culture, my ancestors' ashes are mixed with the land of Kashmir, is sacred to me. My forefathers lived there. I was born there. That whole land is sacred. The people who are living there are related to me by blood, That's my place. That's what my belonging. I may be living on the moon, doesn't matter, It doesn't matter if I don't live there permanently. But when people ask me, who are you, what's your identity? I say, I'm a Kashmiri. I belong to Kashmir. And I'm very proud of my Kashmiri ancestry, hereditary, I have a very proud history. I'm proud of Lalta Dityan Muktapid, who's known as the Alexander of India, whose empire was 2/3 of India, plus all the way Afghanistan, Pakistan, the current, all the way to the eastern border of Iran, all the way to Tibet and Turkestan, all the way to Kannauj, Odisha and Gujarat. That was his empire. So I'm proud of being a Kashmiri Pandit. Kashmir has been a seat of learning. Buddhism and Hinduism. And
Sufism
Kashmiri,
too.
the Sufism, the unique Kashmiri Sufism. It did not see bloodshed in 1947. So that's my belonging. So without that, that's my appeal to my own community. Look, be connected with your roots. And for the Muslims, we are part of the same family, part of the same tapestry. What we bring to the table, is good for Kashmir. So we have to both sides have to earn each other's trust. But that's not very hard. Every family suffers lots of jolts and all that. There are mistress and, a lot of things happen. But the wisdom lies in moving forward. The objective is the prosperity, happiness and peace in Kashmir. That is it. How much I have suffered, nobody can quantify it. Even if you argue to the end of the world, it is no way to quantify is your pain more than my pain. That's foolish. Only the wearer knows where the shoe pinches. I can never quantify. No one can quantify. Even God can't quantify whose pain is more. Pain is pain. Both have pain. Let our pain now bring us together, closer to each other. Let that pain, our roots are there. Let our pain now bring us closer for the sake of Kashmir and all Kashmiris, the Pandits and the Muslims. Let's weave that tapestry again for the prosperity, peace and happiness in Kashmir. Both communities. Let past be gone. Let's learn from the history. I'm just telling you, in 1989, if Kashmiri Pandits had one leadership That leadership should have been taken into confidence by the Muslim leadership. Even they did not have one leadership. Pandits did not have one leadership. There were all kinds of leaders everywhere. If the two leaders would have come together and whatever was to be done was to be done, but taken into confidence, we didn't have to leave Kashmir. We didn't have to, we would have been still in our home in Srinagar. If that would have happened. But it was a very bad idea, and I'm sure this idea was not coming from Kashmir itself. Pandits were scared and targeted. They were scared away. That's true. Some deliberately, many people were asked to leave, many people were killed. There's a list who direct killing, of 300 and all that, and many thousands that died after the exodus for different reasons, which I have mentioned, including snake bites and sunstrokes and heart and diabetes and shock and still suffering. It's endless. Do you think I will ever forget that? But no. Wisdom is to move on. My mother used to say that if you revisit the old thing again, it's a new battle now. Forget it now. Let's be wise now. Let's move ahead. Important thing is the survival and sustainability of Kashmir, its peace and prosperity of its youth. For their sake, let this unique tapestry be again woven by the Pandits. And there are many Pandits I meet and all that. They interact, they visit Kashmir very often. They interact with their Muslim brethren. They are ready to make input for the sake of their ancestral land. So are the Muslims. So it is happening. I think that era is coming when there will be greater interaction between the two communities. And these are not alien communities. They belong to the same community. They are the same people. They're one people. It's not one has come from outside. So wisdom is they come together to do that for Kashmir.
Is that your solution?
That's my solution. Wisdom, move on, forbearance, vision. Forget your individual problems. You have suffered or I have suffered. That's not the question now. We have gone past that stage. And individual doesn't matter, I suffered more, that's why I want to sink the boat. No. We have to think about the community. Both communities have to think about their own communities, but again, the greater is for Kashmir.
So let's keep it to that and let them think what is good for Kashmir.